Hi, my name is Crystal. I live with stage 4 metastatic breast cancer, and I'm living one joy at a time. I shared my diagnosis in the description below, but this is more about me living with cancer. It's about me finally living the homesteader life that I've always dreamed of, where my family and I find wild edibles and attempt to garden and raise livestock. It's been a dream of mine and my family's to try and re-homestead part of the original acreage my grandparents homesteaded over 80 years ago. If you'd like to hear more about my cancer story, you can let me know and I'll go into more detail and tell my story. And I'll be happy to share my journey that I've been on so far, and honestly give you a look inside of what it's like to have cancer twice. Yet for myself, as much as for my family, I want this to be more than just a story about cancer. I want to live my best life, no matter how long or short I have on this world. My grandparents have been gone for 20 years now, and all that time their homestead has remained largely untouched. It's going to be a countdown to clean up the land and house because of my older brother's plans to move back home in a matter of months. But we're hoping that we can do it and do it up to my grandparents' standards. So I hope you follow along with my family and I as we re-homestead my grandparents' original homestead. Thank you. To get started, I thought I'd take you on a little tour of the original property, surviving buildings, metal and automobile boneyards, and the trash dump from when my grandparents lived on the property. Straight ahead, there is a trailer that was added after my grandparents lived here by my uncle, who took over the property immediately after their deaths. To the left is where the original stone hogsty remains, as well as a feed shed my parents added a few years ago. To the right is the home that my grandparents raised 5 children in and lived until their deaths. Further down the hill in the distance is where my papa raised cows. Around the back of the house lies the original chicken coop and outhouse. There's a look at the back of the house. Straight ahead is where we're planning to start a garden next spring. There's a video coming on where we're attempting an experiment on amending the soil over the fall and winter, hoping to get better soil quality. Ahead is the beginning of a barn that my papa started over 60 years ago, but for whatever reason never finished. We're hoping to repurpose it and use it for hay storage or something like that. Up ahead and for a distance is the lawnmower, tractor, and truck and car boneyards. There is also a large amount of cinder blocks waiting to be used on the half-built barn and a root cellar. To the right is more truck and car part storage, as well as a few boats that were left by my uncle. There's a bit of a tight squeeze through here with my Subaru Forester, but we made it. This alleyway circles back around and runs through my grandparents' old trash dump, which I'll take you on a more in-depth tour a little later in this video. To the right is a load of toilets and urinals for when my uncle was a plumber before he got lung cancer and had to give it up. This road circles around and back up to the lawnmower and tractor boneyard and the half-built cinder block barn. Oh, all right. You've seen the outside of the house that my mom grew up in. The original farmhouse, homestead house, and I thought I'd show you a tour. Now bear in mind that it is in a mess. Things are everywhere. Some things were left from when my grandparents passed in the early 2000s, and some things are left from when my uncle owned the place, and some things are just all over the it's a mess, so bear with me, but I'll show you the layout, and you can see what it looks like now. Unfortunately, the structure will have to be bulldozed down. The termites are so bad. They never had a termite contract on it or sprayed for termites, and the termites are just eating the walls down around the place. So we will carefully navigate through it, and I'll show you the layout that this house has. Alright, first off, we got a little entry. And these walls are pink. They look beige. Oh goodness. They look beige, but they are pink. My mama had a tiny little library area where those encyclopedias were always. And then under there, she had children's books when I was young. And then here is the living room. They had double recliners right there with double tables, and they sat. And then they had these two kind of love seat things that faced each other, the one against that wall and one here in front of the staircase. They were so uncomfortable. They obviously did not want people to stay. And then they had a TV right across from them. They used to have a little stove there, but as you can see, the paint's falling off. The walls are cracking and coming apart. There's been leaks that my dad has patched. Okay, this was the dining room, but this also was the original cabin that they started. So inside these walls are actual just logs. It wasn't a log cabin necessarily, but it was a cabin that was built with some logs. But this was the original one room cabin. Now it has various things in it. When I was a little girl, it had a hutch there, a buffet here, a table there, and then another hutch here. And we always had this blackboard. It was one of the best things about coming to Mamaw and Papaw's was getting to play on the blackboard. Mamaw's desk was always there. We've been kind of going through it, trying to figure out what's what, but Mamaw's desk was always there. And then it led into, got a little closet, vacuum closet, linen closet, and then it led into the bathroom. And when I say this is pink, you can't see it because there's no electricity. When I say this pink, it is pink. Pink, pink, pink. We've started putting stuff up, but bathroom there, and then it had a shower there. We started putting things up, and we found things that had been there since Walmart had those kind of stickers. I mean, it still had a UPC, but they had those kind of stickers. I don't know if borax has a expiration date. I was kind of looking for an expiration date to kind of help us date. Maalox. Oh, here we go. There's an expiration date. I don't know if you can see it, of 89. That is not the oldest thing that is in here. Some things are so old, I'm not even sure they have expiration dates on them. I don't know if you can see that, but that's expiration date of 82. And the chloroseptic. And then there's a Listerine, old Listerine glass bottle, which I think is actually pretty cool. Old Listerine glass bottle. Get it in the sun a little bit here. It actually does not have a, it doesn't have an expiration date, but there's a couple of those in here. Oh, trying to put it back. But yeah, there's some things that the expiration dates were like from the late 70s. Drawer of Band-Aids. Nothing but Band-Aids. Oh, I don't know what's in that. It's stuck. But yeah, that's that. And this is their utility room. Or was their utility room. So there used to be washer and dryer there. This is all concrete. A little sink, which we have covered up with stuff because we're trying to figure out what's what. And then in here they had a kind of a pantry. They had their hot water heater, but kind of a pantry. Some cool old scales. I guess it's where they kept their canned goods, their bulk items. I mean, they had 5 kids, so their bulk items and their extra things. Okay, we'll go back into the dining room. Lock that up. This is under the stairs. Can't really go in there because it'd be too dark, but it was just a little coat closet, I guess. It never had a door. And this was the kitchen. And we've taken out what right ahead of us was where the refrigerator was. It was completely blocking off that one window. Here's where the stove was. I always thought that that lobster mold was pretty funny. Anyway, yeah. Sink. Remember, this hasn't been lived in for 20 years almost. Sink. And the kitchen was blue. At least it wasn't pink. The kitchen had blue tile. It's a weird kind of tile though. Enamelware. Was a bar on the other side of the stove. See how it's like cracked? It's almost like it was like a plywood type with just it painted on. Like it's not actual tile, it's like painted on. Whoop. And then we had their pantry, which used to be full of food. Now it's full of their extra things that we've pulled from here or there that were on shelves. There used to be like a little buffet shelf there, but it was falling apart. So we had to move it. This was their original dining table. I think in the living room, oh, here's one of the original chairs. In the living room are the other chairs. Here's one of the original chairs. Yeah, there's still dishes in the cabinet. I just don't know what to do with them. Still pans, pots. Although those could very well still be good. It looks stainless steel with copper bottoms. And it looks like baking supplies up there. Still interesting. Anybody know what that is? That's interesting. I know what most of this stuff is, but I don't know what that is. That's a sauerkraut masher. Sorry, it is a mess. Another drawer of wonders. Melon ball? You know, I'm not sure. Anyway, some fun things. So we're gonna go back through the dining room. We had a yard sale at one point, so we got back through the dining room. If you can't tell, my mama liked books. And up the stairs, and it's gonna be dark going up here, but whew, it's warm, as you can imagine. All right, first bedroom. This was one of the girls' bedrooms. It would have had twin beds, so we would have had a bed here, and then I think a bed there, or maybe this was the one with just one bed. I can't remember, but it's got a cool roof. And then had a little closet. Yeah. This is kind of it's hard to tell, but it's kind of a seafoam green. Some more books, seafoam green color. All right, and then this ended up being turned into my mama's sewing room, but this was also a bedroom when my mom was young. Some old quilts. And sewing notions. Okay, and then we'll go into the master bedroom. Had a, I mean, not a very big closet, but I guess it was all right. Had a closet. They had a, I guess, big king size bed in here. All right, so these were the dresser drawers that she had. My mama had when she was here. And that was her little vanity that she sat at. And this was built in, so I feel like she originally had this built in and set there, because I mean, you can tell it was well worn, well used. I don't think anything's in here. No. Well worn, well used, but I know as she got older, she used this. And then another little bathroom. And this one's blue. And it had a shower that's falling apart. Okay, there's one more bedroom. Gonna be dark for a minute. Now this one I know had twin beds. There was one here, and one here. And these are built in, so these would have been like their headboards. They would have been their headboards. Yeah, but the beds have since been removed. I'm not sure where that headboard came from, but oh, here's one of the original headboards from one of the beds. Or the footboard, I'm not sure. Little closet they had. Now remember, 2 girls shared this room, and that is all the closet that they had. That was it. They had a dresser, but that's all the hanging closet that they had. I don't think anything's in the drawers. Nope, they're empty. I thought so. Yeah, so they're empty. And that's it. And then we go back downstairs. Now they did have an addition added in the early 90s. Early to mid 90s. We walked past it. I totally forgot about it because it wasn't part of the original room or the original house. But they had this room right here added on. This used to just be a blank, just a wall, and they had this room added on. I opened up the door for some more light. And right now my dad's got his extra motorcycle in here, and table saw, router, shot vac. He's got some extra stuff in here, but it did have beds in here. And then they had a TV over here, and they enlarged their closet space. We got his, I think, or hers and his, or his and hers closets. And then they had a door that went out to a ramp, and they could drive their car around here, around back, and get out. And so this is the back of the house. This is the view. We're trying to dig out an old stump. There's the garden plot. Beyond that, off in the distance, is where the half barn is. That is the old chicken coop. And there's just storage in it right now, but there's something kind of funny in the old chicken coop. Hang on. It is our old outhouse. Yes, we replaced the door with a travel trailer door. My mom had chickens in it a few years back. Can I open it with one hand? No, I'm gonna have to bring you back. Hang on. It is the old outhouse. It is still here. The roof is falling in. Right now there's just kind of a temporary shed over the top of it, or a shield type. I think they're the old garage doors that were on the garage that used to be on that concrete pad right there. But yeah, still has the old outhouse. The garage that was right there was demolished back in September of 2022 because it was falling in on itself and the roof had completely caved in. It was going anyway, so we took it down carefully so that it didn't collapse in on itself and make an even bigger mess. But yeah, it's an old house and it's falling apart. My mom can remember having little baby baths in those. Which I think is kind of cute. But yeah, barn's over there. The bone pile of junk and stuff is back there. And that's the tour. Anyway, this is the bottom of the junk pile. We'll walk up a bit. Kind of hard to see for all the trees. We've worked on it a little bit here and there, but honestly, there's so much of it. I'm not quite sure what to do. Other than put it in somebody else's, in another landfill. But it's interesting. Several decades of prune juice bottles, apple bottles, soda bottles, tin cans, old TV. I think there's about 4 old TVs over there. I'm not sure why. And then we got another TV here. Whoop, hello. Along with a very worn out tire. Looks like we have part of a vacuum cleaner over there with what looks like a urinal maybe. But we have all sorts of generational glass here. Like I said, I think that's a bulb to something that broke off. But we have all sorts of juice bottles. Of course, they've lost their labels. And I think these had some kind of juice in them that my grandma liked. There's a lot of them here. A lot of them here, along with what I think is either instant coffee or instant tea. And then we have what I'm going to consider a dressing bottle of some sort. Salad dressing. When they used to be glass. This would have had something in it, but you could reuse it as a glass, as a cup. I'm not sure what it had in it. Still could be used as a glass, honestly. There's nothing wrong with it. We've pulled out quite a bit of it. That's actually kind of cool, and put it to the side, up on the other side of the junk road. And we have miscellaneous things that, who knows what that is, with holes in it. More jars. Now the cans, when we find aluminum cans, we recycle those, and anything that can be recycled, we recycle. And we've been trying to figure out something that we can do with the glasses, the glass jars, glasses, whatever. Have a little bit more up there that we've kind of tried to dig out. As you see, we've kind of tried to make ourselves a bit of a walkway so we can walk down. And I came down from the bottom on the ATV just so I didn't have to muck around. We have some old buckets. My papa, my grandpa, was a plumber, so could have been from him plumbing. More of the juice type jars, coffee, instant coffee, tea jars, and the like. We do have some plastics that we'll be recycling, and then those are just tree trunks, old tree trunks. Alright, I'm going to attempt to come down here. Now this was probably a minnow bait bucket, crawdad type. I don't know, it's a bucket without a bottom and a hole in it. Kind of cool though. Might be able to find something fun for that. Make a planter out of it, put a plant inside of it with an actual plant pot that has a bottom. We got a Pepsi bottle here. Kind of hard to see, but that is embossed Pepsi bottle. Another Pepsi Cola. Got a little glass thickness to it. Look at that. I don't know if you can see the iridescence. Got a little glass thickness. And then we have broken Coca-Cola bottles. Doesn't want to. There we go. Broken bottles. Little plastic this and that. Again, we will recycle anything we can. Old tin cans, unfortunately, not aluminum, cannot recycle. But interesting nonetheless. This would have been from my uncle who lived here on the property. Budweiser. Old Budweiser can. Who lived here on the property after, well, during when my mama and papa lived here, and then after their death. He also lived on the property and, oh, sorry spiders. Also lived on the property and used this as his dump. There's another embossed Coca-Cola. Is it? Oh wow, it's actually, it's whole. I don't know that I need that schmutz in it, but yeah, that's actually whole. Cool. More of those. I want to say maybe prune. I don't know. A lot of these green juice type bottles. A lot of them. And then of course we have tin cans of this, that, and the other that are rusting. Some things I can identify, some things I can't. Bucket full of tar, like I said. Grandpa was a plumber, no telling what he used that for. Broken coffee cup. Sad days. What looks like an old ketchup bottle up there. Let's see. Oh, old ketchup bottle here, but unfortunately broken. This looks like a sauce or a dressing of some sort. They did like their dressings. That almost looks like a soy sauce or a big ketchup. Couldn't tell you. That looks like it could have been some kind of ketchup or, what does it say on the bottom? Foods, patent pending, 1967. I don't know if you can see that. 1967. Hunt's. That would have been a ketchup bottle. Would have been. Not anymore. Well, it still is a ketchup bottle, but it doesn't have ketchup in it. This, oh, that's not to be refilled. No deposit. No return. Well, shucks. Don't guess we can return that one. I do believe these were medicine bottles of some sort. Not to be, no, just not to be refilled. And another one, that one's got glass thickness pretty bad. Still has its cap though. Yeah, definitely some more ketchup bottles here and there. We'll keep wandering up. Light bulb. Blown light bulb. Oh, I'm stuck on a tree that's trying to sapling. More of this and that. Bottoms of what we think were a type of Clorox. Purex, that's what Purex. So I think we actually have a full bottle of that. I'll show you in a bit. Another ketchup bottle. Apparently my grandparents dug the ketchup. I can probably repurpose that. And put stuff in that. It's not broken. Alright. Just continue on the little path that we made so we can get up and down this without killing ourselves. So, try to leave that spider web alone. And then here's some of them that we've saved. We've been putting some things to the side. This is the full Purex bottle that I was thinking of. A nice big one. I think it's actually bigger than the one that didn't make it. Then we have some Miller's. You can barely see it. I don't think you can see it on camera. You can barely see it. Oh, wait, no. Mason's. Old-fashioned. Huh. Interesting bottle. We have got some blue. Pond's cream, we were guessing. Some more Hunt's bottles, this and that. Don't know. Aftershave maybe? Not sure. We have some interesting shaped ones that we couldn't quite figure out. But we haven't really done much research on them either. This one's got glass thickness on the inside. It is whole, but it is a little thick. And then whatever these were, which we think were some kind of juice, they don't have anything on them to tell us. We have a few of those. I think my grandma really liked her juice. Cooler, some more of those odd buckets, along with odd, oops, I'm gonna break that. And this, I believe, is obviously a liquor bottle of some sort. Like I said, my uncle lived here. Then we have nice amounts of these Melanta, we think, Miralax, something like that. And these, I believe, are juice bottles, but they have water on them. I don't think my grandparents would have bought water when they had perfectly good well water. I think this was a juice bottle of some sort, and even has some measurements. And they were advertising that you could use them as water after you got done with the juice. Coming back over this side, we have, again, the stumps, along with lots of stuff we have to clean up. Doesn't end there. It's the side of the, maybe we can call it a tip. I don't know what you want to call it. The dump. Just strewn out. Now we had them all the way down there. We had cans, glasses, all the way down there. But we picked those up and we made a line where no trash past this point. So we did get the trash up from the wash, and we scotched it in where the trash couldn't go any further, thankfully. Another I would say perfectly good bottle. Not. It was laying like that. It was deceiving. Well, that was rude. There's something under here. Weight Watchers in a can. I think that's a Sprite bottle, but I can't get that. Oh, I can. Yeah. A Sprite can. Neat. Whatever's in that. Not neat. Not opening that. We'll leave that alone. I think these would have been old Coke bottles. Pepsi bottles, Coke bottles, what have you. Yeah. I think those would have been mason jar? Probably could clean that up. And maybe reuse it. I don't know. Put dry stuff in it. Oh, look at that. Got a little bit of glass thickness. You can see the iridescence if you can catch the light just right. But that's a mason jar, a ball mason jar. Be coming back for that one. Along with, so I don't fall in, along with, that is a, sorry, that's a cur. I wouldn't use these for recanning, obviously, but dry storage, things of the like. Oh, we got another ball mason jar. And then we've got some up here. That's pretty much where the family between my grandparents from when they had 5 children, and then my uncle who took over the property after their death. This is where their trash went. So this is where their trash still is. A little at a time, we come out. We've been working on it. We'll try to show you some more of that. Looks like some other this and that's over here. More of these juice jars. And I think that is also a juice of some sort. We have just a regular, probably what would have been a mayonnaise, Miracle Whip jar. Honey jar, I think. I could be wrong. And then what I think is another either Coke or a Pepsi bottle. And it looks like we have a broken pitcher over there. Alright. So, that's the family tip.